Hello, welcome back to JR Oil Paintings 101. As you can see here, we're going to have a nice little painting today. But my name is Jeff Robinson, and we'll be doing a little wet on wet oil painting technique. We're going to go through briefly the colors I got. We got phthalo blue, Prussian blue, sap green, phthalo green, Van Dyke brown, burnt sienna, black, alizarin crimson, red, cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, Indian yellow, titanium white. So we're going to get right into this. We're going to have a small little painting today. It's not going to be much, but we're going to dip into the phthalo blue, and we're just going to cover this whole canvas in phthalo blue. And that's right, nice and Prussian blue is a lot darker than this. Started to use Prussian blue, but I think we're going to go phthalo blue. I have a nice little painting today. Something kind of simple. Just back and forth strokes here. Nice blue canvas to start with. As you can see, this canvas is kind of small. I think it's 11 by 14, but it's got these scalloped edges, kind of like that. So I've done one before like this. It comes out like nice little interesting painting. So we got all this nice blue going here. I'm not going to put any cloud in the sky today just because I don't want to. We're going to mix up some mountain color. We're going to have a nice little mountain here. So we're going to get Prussian blue, phthalo blue, a little bit of black, and alizarin crimson. A bunch of alizarin crimson. I want kind of almost a purplish flavor to here. It's not going to be too much into the purple realm, but because the blues are so dark, they'll overtake you big time. But we'll have a little bit of a violet blue tint to it. And we're going to put in a pretty good sized mountain here. So we're going to cut off that little roll of paint on the edge of the knife. This is kind of a big roll of paint, but you know what I'm talking about here. So we're going to go right up here. This is going to be kind of a dark painting because we got a lot of blue on here that's really dark and in this dark color. But when we hit the highlights with it, as far as the snow is really going to pop. Just your basic little mountain shapes here, nothing too fancy as this. We're just concerned about this outside edge. We want it nice and distinct. The rest of that, not real worried about it yet. Now that we got that done, we'll take that same brush that we had to put in the sky with. Why not? Oh my golly, it's just got a little sky color on it. Not a big deal. We'll wipe off some of it. And we'll try not to disturb that outside edge, the top edge. Just go one way or the other. Pull down. Pull back down around here. And over here down. And over this way, that way. And then back over here like this. Nice little subdued mountain. What it looks like right now, right? Now, we scraped a lot of that paint off and we're thinning it out again here doing this. So that means our highlights will stick a little easier. I like that. Now then, yeah. Now then, we will take our little brush. I'm going to have to move some paint around here. And we'll flatten out some of just the titanium white, just regular old titanium white. That's this little roll right here. Now, you got to decide where any light's going to hit. Don't come from the right. I'm right-handed, so most of the time my light comes from the right. And you're going to hold the knife very gently and just drag it down. Be wary of the angles. You want to keep those angles. Something like that. Now we'll come down with this one. More about like that. Now it'll pick up some of that color underneath, and it'll darken up a little bit. If you want it really subdued, like this is a real far off mountain, you just rub that a couple of times with your knife, and it'll pick up more of that blue, and it'll make that snow or the highlights really subdued, and it'll look like it's a real far off mountain. But I'm not looking for that today. The mountain's front and center this time. He's going to be a big old easy going mountain here. This guy, he's going to come around here about like that. There'll be a little valley in there that guy's going to go into. I'll just keep pulling down. Right here, we're going to put a little bit more of that color right in there. I'm just going to kind of keep going back and forth here till you get what you want, and just kind of just drag some of that white, that snow, off into this little valley here, about like that. We'll put in the low lights in just a minute. These are just the highlights. That's a little too straight of a line for me, so we're going to put in a little bit of another little peak. I think he goes off over here, something like that. And then we'll put maybe a little bit more of a peak here, and just kind of drag it down there. That'll break up that solid line. I would take a little bit of paint, put on this little guy here, and bring him over here like that. We'll use a smaller knife. I got a little more control with that small knife on these tighter areas here. And we got another little valley in there that's going to pick up some of this paint here. You're going to keep playing with it till you find what you want. About like that. Don't forget this little bump over here. He got to have a little snow on him too. And you're going to bring it down. But just very little pressure, no pressure on the knife at all. You put too much pressure on there, it's going to put too much. It's not going to, your snow's not going to break like that. And that's what you're looking for in this kind of a painting. You're looking for a little bit of break in that snow. We're going to add just a little bit of phthalo blue to some white. We're looking for a little bit lighter color than what's on there. This one I mixed up fairly well. I usually loosely mix it, but this one's a little bit better mixed. I use a smaller knife here. We got smaller areas here. And we're just going to go up here and make that right there. You know, just kind of blend in here where these two come together. But you're going to have, there's a little valley in there. Not all of it's going to have that bright white snow, right? It's going to be blended in with this, just to have it break, just like you would the snowy part of it, the highlights. You want the lowlights to break just as much. It don't quite look right, so you just play with it a little bit. A lot of practice, and you'll be able to do this. It's taken me a while to figure out exactly what I was doing wrong all those years. Uh, one of these days, like I say, when I get to know you people better, I'll bring out one of my old paintings, show you just how bad I was. And some of my earlier paintings, you wouldn't even be able to tell what the heck it was. Got a few of those stuck in the back room back there. I break them out every once in a while, look at them, and go, I have improved. Don't cover up all your mistakes. If you make a painting that just really sucks, don't cover it up. Stick it in the back corner of your place. A few years from now, a few paintings from now, after you've gotten better, drag it out and compare it to the one you just did. You'll see how much you've improved. It just takes a few paintings. Some it takes a little longer. It took me quite a bit longer to start getting better. And I'm trying to get better with each painting I do. Hopefully, I'll continue to get better and better and better. That is the goal, right? All right, now we're going to take our little 1-inch brush, kind of diffuse the bottom of this. You're just going to tap the bottom of this. Remember the angles. Your angles go this way, so tap up this way. Your highlights go down this way, tap it in this way. You're just going to diffuse that mountain, the base of that mountain, just a little bit. You want it nice and fuzzy at the bottom. And then just gently pull up so you can pull up in the same direction you tapped it in, the same direction your highlights are in. And then you got you a nice diffused bottom of your mountain. Like I said, you got a little fuzzies at the bottom of it, right? That's what you're looking for on these. So now that since we got our big brush here, we got some dark color, we're going to put in a little bit of grass and some trees, and that's about it for this painting. The big thing was the mountain. So we're going to tap into this dark color. Actually, what we're going to do is I'm just going to fill in this with that dark color right in there. And maybe we'll just go up here just like a little heel and then back up like that, just kind of like that. We'll tap in some color and make this some grass and stuff like that. But reason I just painted it on there like that instead of tapping all this, 2 reasons. One is boring for y'all to watch. And second reason is you get a little less paint when you do it this way on the canvas. And we're going to cover it up with other colors and everything, with our highlight colors. And it'd just be a lot easier to do it that way because you don't have as much paint on it as we did before. If we would have tapped it in, we'll get a little bit of the cad yellow with some sap green in it, and a little bit of yellow ochre, Indian yellow, more sap green, a lot of sap green in that. Oh, more sap green, more sap green. Give me more sap green. There we go. And a little bit of liquid white just to kind of dull it down, or just to actually brighten it up and to thin it out. Maybe a little bit of black just to dull this down just a touch. There we go. Something like that. Should see my palette over here. It's a mess. And I don't know you people that well. So one of these days, once I get to know y'all a little bit better, we'll show you some stuff. All right, we're just going to tap in some little bit of grass here. I like that. Just keep going. Remember, the more you tap, the more it'll pick up that underneath color, and it'll change all kinds of colors on you. So we're just gonna keep on tapping, keep on tapping. And when you're running out of color, just go in and grab some more. There we go. It's gonna be a back and forth, forth and back kind of thing, you know. It's just gonna kind of playing with the lay of the land here. How you gonna put your land in? How do you want it going? And don't stick to just one color. Get some more uh, yellow ochre, a little more Indian yellow, a little bit more liquid white, a little bit more maybe a little phthalo green mixed in here occasionally. Just hit them all and mix them on the brush. Don't mix them on the palette, mix them on the brush. That way you get a variety of colors once you get it up here. And you just keep tapping and tap. Try not to let it let your brush slide. If you let your brush slide, it ain't gonna look like grass. It'll look kind of odd. Well, and if you're into odd looking paintings, you can slide it all over the place. You can do what you want to do. But I'm just saying, for my paintings, try not to let it slide. Just trying to teach you some basic techniques and then set you out and use your imagination and come up with all kinds of different stuff. And just kind of darken it up at the end there. A little bit more liquid white, just to kind of thin it out a little bit. We're getting a little too thick. There we go. Now we're going to put in a little bit more here, and we'll add a tree or two. But these little these little canvases are pretty quick. If you just want a nice, quick little painting, you can do this pretty quick. Same techniques as we did with the bigger canvases. We're just a little smaller area here. Now then, we're going to put in a couple of pretty good size evergreens, maybe a bush or two, and call this one done. But let's do a couple of quickies here. Just want to do a nice little painting that I think everybody would enjoy seeing here and there. Yeah, we'll just cover it a little bit on the mountain there, and then just I'll go up to the top of the line, just below that line, because the top of that line is going to be the top of your tree trunk. And we'll just keep putting in until you decide where to stop that little fella at. I think we're just going to go all the way down to the bottom of the canvas there. Wipe off a little bit of that color, and we'll darken him up just a little bit here and there. We'll put some highlights on him in just a minute. We'll get just a little bit of paint thinner on a brush, thin this color out just a little bit. And I think we'll put one really big one over here, like right there. And don't go all the way to the top of that line, because that's your top of your tree. Oh, you're just adding, tapping. Well, we tapped all over our big mountain, didn't we? That's all right. Most of him showing, so that's a good thing. There we go. Now then, I think that's where we're going to stop that dude. We're going to put in some color on these two. Now the highlight color you're going to choose here going to have to be pretty thin. So take you just some paint thinner on your brush first, and then tap into your yellows and your blues, just to get a little bit of different colors in there. But add just the least little bit of paint thinner to your brush, and it'll cause it to stick then. And then just tap it in there just a bit. I want to cover it all up. I have some darkness still left. And then we're just going to go into Indian yellow with a little paint thinner on a brush and add just a little bit of white to that, liquid white. And to that, we're going to add just a little bit of Prussian blue to this mixture. I want to shake up the colors just a little bit on this other side. Now we're going to darken that up just a little bit. Oh yeah, that's going to look good. There. Now we'll get this big dude over here. He matches the grass a little too much. I'm just going to tap in the color. And about like that. Now then, we're going to put in a little bush. Just have a nice little bush. But I like my little bush. We're going to put in my little red bush here. Where are we going to put him? I think we'll put him right here. We'll put one little, two little, three little bushes, 5 little, 6 little, 7 little bushes. And actually, it's just going to be 1 or 2. About like that. Add a little bit more color. I want it nice and dark. Yeah, about like that. Now where to put my color brush? There's my coloring brush. And my highlight color brush. Yeah, wipe off some of that color. We're going to go into red, of course, and a little bit of white. With just a touch of paint thinner. So that's some pretty heavy duty paint we got going on there. We got a lot of paint right there. So I want this to stick. Now then, we're going to put in a few highlights here. Yeah, about like that. Look at this little guy. Woo-wee. You may have to go a little bit looser. Hey, we got a lot of paint on this. There I didn't have enough paint on my brush. I've said before, don't skimp on the paint on your brush. You gotta have a lot of paint on your brush. I'm doing some of this stuff. Add a little bit of liquid white to it. Change the flavor just a bit. We're just gonna have red on our bush today, our bushes. Don't cover up all the dark. Something about like that. And then we'll stick and twig it. something like that. A couple more over here. And then I'll call that one, I think we'll call that one done. I know it's a real simple little painting, but that's all I wanted for this one. Just, it's a small little deal here. We're going to just see if we can sign this little turkey. You never know, it might be able to. Just depends on if it's got too much paint on it. I bet we can sign it though. We're gonna sign it down here in this tree over here, right here in the corner. Hey, there we go. We almost got a J in there before it needed more color. I just signed with my initials because I'm lazy. I think I said before, when you get into your 50s, late 50s, you're allowed to be lazy, I think, a little bit. At least I hope so, because that's me. All right, 2 and a 6, or a Z and a 6. And we'll call that done. I know it ain't much of a painting there, but I just wanted to show you a quick little one, and it makes for a nice little painting though. And I think with that, we're going to call it a night, and just say that we'll talk to you shortly. Bye.